Okay, welcome to a very chilly but clear night sky. I'm not too far from home really. I'm out near Canungra, and it was a bit of a rush last minute decision. I'm not in the darkest sky location I'd like to be, but I wanted to record a short little video to discuss two things. One, which is probably going to be me jumping back into the laptop later on in this video. But the first thing is how I plan shoots using Google Earth Pro, and how I can visualize the Milky Way, where it's going to set and rise using a certain tool within Google Earth Pro. The second thing is I've been practicing panoramas tonight. That's all I've been doing is panos. So I'm using the geared head from KNF Concept, or Kent Fate as they're now going to be rebranding to, and it's so handy to have a geared head for panoramas, because not only do you have the dial to judge the 15 degrees as in on the sway like this, but also on the tilt. So I was shooting 2-row panoramas for the sky. So I'd start on the left hand side, I'd shoot my first frame, and I'd go 15 degrees intervals all the way over, around 9 panels across. Then I'd tilt my camera upwards 15 degrees and I'd go back. So I'd try and capture the full scope of the Milky Way arcing in the sky. Has it worked out? I don't know. I'm not good at panoramas, and I haven't even gone near tracked panoramas yet. But just a little word of advice: if you can get a geared head, and you can get pano heads and they have a tilt on them as well, but if you want to do those multi-row panoramas, you definitely need to have a way of gauging how much to tilt. A ball head is going to be very difficult for that, because when you loosen the ball head, the camera's going to go off balance. Whereas with the geared head, you can pan left to right, or right to left, wherever you want, then go up. The camera stays where it is, it just tilts up, and you can pan back across. So that's been very handy. Right now I'm just firing off some tracked exposures. Probably won't even use it, to be honest, because the Milky Way is just setting just where the light pollution is. I think it's Bow Desert that's causing that light pollution. I'm surprised actually with the amount of it. I thought the skies would be darker, but I just didn't have enough time to travel out to the scenic, or further into the scenic rim. Hopefully later on in the week I'll get to do that. The weather hasn't been that good for Milky Way, unfortunately. I'm using the Move Shoot Move Nomad, brilliant little tracker, and I have the Alan Wallace, the Z bracket with a ball head on top. I'm not keen on that setup. It looks a bit shaky, it's not very stable. I think that's the way I have it set up, so I probably have to look at that again. The ball head just looks like it's shaking a bit on top of the bracket, so I definitely feel like I have to look at that. Like if it was windy tonight, then that would not be sharp, especially when you're shooting 2-minute exposures, But so yeah, so the reason I chose this particular location, and this is something that when you're planning your shoots on Google Earth, you have to take into account. Firstly, it's not on private property, it's a road. There's plenty of space to pull the car in at the side of the road, so it's safe. There was a field with trees in it that I wanted to go into, but unfortunately there's horses in it. I think I'm near a ranch, so there's horses in the field, so I can't go in there. Don't go startling animals, you'll anger landowners, and you probably shouldn't be trespassing anyways on land. But yeah, I chose this location because it's reasonably dark skies. It's within a 40-minute drive of where I live, safe to pull in. Now, obviously, if I had more time, I would be going further inland to darker skies. But when you are planning your locations, try and scroll around on Google Earth. Try and look for those little lone trees and fields, something that might interest you. Bring the level down so you can see the topography. Topography? Is that how you say it? It is topography. You can see the mountains and the valleys and the land, and then you might be able to find your little compositions. Then get the little yellow man, pop him onto the road, go on to Street View. Street View is your best friend when it comes to planning locations using Google Earth. Settings wise for the pano, I was using my Z6 II with my 24mm 1.8. I was at ISO 6400, I think, so I was at quite high ISO, 10 seconds f2. I've no problem shooting at high ISO on the Z6 II. It's an absolutely incredible low light camera. So yeah, that's kind of it from me here in the field. I'm now going to probably jump back to the laptop, and could be a couple of days later, where I'm going to show you Google Earth Pro very briefly, and that tool where you can visualize the Milky Way. But for now, I'm going to enjoy the last half an hour of the Milky Way here before I pack up and head home. It's 4:15 a.m. so yeah, great to be back out under dark skies again. Okay, welcome everyone. We are now in the laptop. Much warmer location than what you just saw. But this is where I was shooting. So it was near the Oz Sky Ranch, and I kind of found it by just searching on Google Earth. And I'm going to drag the street view down here. I'm going to show you what I meant by lots of safe space to pull in. So I had all this space here where I could pull the car in. I was literally standing here on the side of the road. It was the middle of the night. No one's going to come along usually in cars, but you just never know, especially in Australia. 4 a.m, lots of people are up for work and the roads can be busy. So yeah, safe location to pull in. That's not the reason for this video really. What I want to show you is how I was able to visualize where the Milky Way would rise and set. So I zoom in here and I come down to kind of ground level view. So this is the road that you saw in the panel. And if you go up to this tool here, this is an incredibly powerful tool which it simulates where the sun is at every single hour of the day, every minute of the day. And even for your sunset and sunrise shoots, and I have a separate video planned on this, but even for your sunsets and sunrise shoots, you can see where the sun is setting in the sky. So really powerful tool. And not only does it do that, it also shows you where the Milky Way will rise. So remember the panel? This was the road leading into it. So let's toggle through the night here. So I was shooting at approximately 3 to 5 a.m. So there's our Milky Way. So look, if I zoom out, slightly toggle backwards, this is my road, and you can visualize the panel here. So if I scroll across, there's the full arc of the Milky Way. So I knew if I shot a panel, and I shot it around this time, around 3, so I was able to kind of get it a bit higher in the sky. Now it is tricky. So look, there's the full Milky Way arch going across the sky. Incredibly powerful tool that I would encourage anyone to be able to use. So you just select this icon up here and go through the motions, and if you have a subject, flick through it and see when the Milky Way rises and sets in the night sky. So here's that lone tree shot that you would have seen. I found it again by using my street view. Like, I was able to see that this is a tree in a field on its own. So I toggled down there. And I was like, ooh, that looks nice. And I'd be able to shoot from the fence and shoot back this way, because the Milky Way was rising somewhere in this region. So I exited street view. I hate when it does that. Here we go. Sorry, sometimes it'll toggle you back to where you originally started. So this is my tree. Pan down. And let's have a look at where our Milky Way is. And there you go. So that's how I was able to visualize the Milky Way core rising over that lone tree, and I was able to grab that image as well. So I hope that helps. Very powerful tool. That's something that you should be using not only for your astrophotography, but for your landscape photography as well. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. All the best.